Now, the Three Martini Lunch with Greg Corombos and Jim Garrity.
And I am Rich McFadden from Radio America and for Greg Corombos today for your Tuesday Martini, along with Jim Garrity, as always, from National Review Online. And today we have a little bit of a change-up for you. Not a whole lot of happy-go-lucky news in the air today, so it's three bad martinis for you. So, Jim, let's jump right into it. Our first bad martini, everybody's been talking about it, this Russian jet being shot down by the Turks.
Yeah, this is really bad. Now, some of us have been pointing out for quite some time that having a lot of Russian jets operating in an area and lots of U.S. jets and coalition jets operating in the same area.
Sooner or later.
I'm sorry?
Sooner or later, something was going to happen.
Yeah, something was going to happen. And oh, by the way, this is not the first time that Turkey had accused Russia of violating its airspace. You know, one of the basic rules of both warfare and peacetime is you don't fly into somebody's airspace without permission. The Turks are claiming that they radioed warnings 10 times in a 5-minute span. The Russian jet did not respond, and thus they shot it. And Moscow and Russia is taking this about as well as you'd expect. There's a statement from Putin that they were stabbed in the back by allies of terrorists this morning. So that's going to make things even more heated over there, even worse. Just shortly before we started taping the podcast today, news coming across that the Russians had sent rescue helicopters for the pilots who had been shot down. And reportedly, Syrian rebels and allegedly the good guys, and you can't see I'm making air quotes as I say that, shot the helicopter down that was sent to rescue those guys. And these guys are all using American-made, American-supplied weapons. So, big fun question heading into Thanksgiving. Are we going into World War III? Will Turkey invoke Article 5 and claim that they are in a de facto state of war with Russia? If they do, what will the rest of Europe and the United States do? Everyone is hoping cooler heads prevail, but you have two countries that basically have pretty darn strong militaries and whose national character doesn't fight. So stay tuned. We'll see how this shakes out.
Hey,
now we'll see what happens.
The second bad martini of the day is this travel warning that we've got going on. For anybody who's going anywhere, I don't care if you're driving to the grocery store, I think you have a travel warning issued.
Now, here's where I'll be nice and kind-hearted, the kindler and gentler Jim.
Yes.
Look, I no doubt that the State Department has a tough job, right? We are doing the best we can in a war against terror, against Islamist terror groups like ISIS that operate in lots of different countries. Paris indicated to us that they can operate in Western cities. Obviously, we know places in Africa are not necessarily safe. There were attacks in Israel. There are attacks in Jordan. So there's a lot of different places that Islamist terrorists who are trying to go out and kill Americans can operate. Having said that, this blanket travel warning for the entire Rich, who does that help? What is that? One, do you think there are some people out there who are simply unaware of the fact that ISIS is out there killing people?
I think it's more likely the fact that they just don't know what to do, so they're just going to blanket cover everything and say, "We told you so."
Yeah, you kind of want, is this the lawyers at some point?
Exactly.
Look, issue the statement saying they could hit anywhere and thus we can't get sued or something,
Right.
It just, the New York Times, the New York Daily News has a really rough, but I would say fair headline this morning saying BAM is their nickname for Obama that they've managed to not get anybody else to use anywhere. But anyway, so Obama's new terror plan, be afraid. Which is, some might argue a little unfair. But again, once the State Department says, hey, terrorists could be anywhere, so be careful. What are you supposed to do with that information? Stay home? Right? I mean, it's Thanksgiving. People are going to be traveling to visit their families.
You're supposed to depend on your government to protect you.
Yeah,
It's exactly what they want to do with it.
Again, now, here's the thing. If you in France, and then heaven forbid something terrible happens in England this weekend, then people say, oh, why didn't you warn us? Look, I don't doubt they're trying to do the best. I think a general be careful because terrorists could be anywhere is pretty close to fear mongering, and I don't understand the point of it. It doesn't seem to have any useful purpose other than, as you indicated, maybe some butt covering in case something terrible does happen.
I think it's absolutely the lawyers at play here. And if you are traveling this weekend, you probably don't want to go to Belgium and Brussels. Probably not a good place to go sightseeing right now.
Yeah, we had made this one of our bad martinis yesterday, and I
Right.
kind of, do we want to do it again? And then I realized, yeah, because basically they're in lockdown, and they're still in lockdown, and they
Total
will
fear
be in
mode.
lockdown. What?
Total fear mode.
Yeah, I was making this point to some of my colleagues. It doesn't this count as one of ISIS's big victories,
Right.
because you've got uh, Brussels, which, oh, by the way, is the headquarters of NATO. And as we noted, maybe some big things on the plate of NATO today and in the coming days. The city is still in lockdown. Some of the NATO employees are working from home. Schools are shut down. Mass transit is shut down. They said they're on day 4 of this, and they said that they're going to stay on their highest state of alert for the next week or so. And as I mentioned, Rich, I can't help but feel like the first time we really saw this approach applied was Boston
Yeah.
years back. It was one day. It more or less worked. We caught the Boston bombers by the end of the day, and it was not. My fear is that, look, that once you do open this door, it makes it easier to open this door over and over again. If you There are 2 billion people in Brussels who are basically being told, not just, it's not just stay in your homes, don't go on the streets, don't go in crowds, don't go, to public places. They're also being told, stay away from windows.
Really?
Don't even go near quick, stay in that corner of the room.
Oh.
You want to talk about just a city and a country paralyzed with fear. Now
They're just cowering to these guys. They win.
and I don't doubt. Look, the threat undoubtedly is real. You're hearing all kinds of They found a suicide bomb vest in Paris yesterday. I get it, but if you decide all life is going to be put on hold until you catch these guys, you've given them the victory. And so, a frustrating and depressing state of affairs over in Brussels as we approach the Thanksgiving weekend. And oh, by the way, you got to wonder, are NATO employees going to get police escorts as they go to work?
Right.
Right? How many of them are dependent upon mass transit? What do you do? Are the cabs running? It's this strange sense of they haven't even done anything in Brussels yet, and we've managed to reach a point where the city is now completely non-functional because of the threat. And
they've shut down a whole country.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's
I don't know where they go for happy hour over in ISIS land, but they are high-fiving each other right now, saying we beat them.
Yeah, and then of course watching the Turks and Russians fight each other.
Right. Yeah. So it's a winner.
So, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Hey, listen, we still have one more day. Things could get really good tomorrow on Wednesday's version of the 3 Martini Lunch. So check back, because we're going to give you some uplifting and good news for your holiday weekend, right?
By comparison, sure.
Well, I'm sure tomorrow will be puppies and kittens. That's it for your 3 Martini Lunch today. We'll see you again tomorrow for your Wednesday edition of the 3 Martini Lunch with Jim Garrity. I'm Rich McFadden from Radio America, and for Greg Columbus. See you right back here tomorrow.